What's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. In today's episode, we are going to focus on installing the seats. But to finish installing the seats, we need to build a harness bar. And to do that, we need to finish out our roll cage. So we're going to be finishing out the roll cage, harness bar, seats, harnesses, and then we're going to take a look at some taillights and see what you guys think. If that'll be at the end of the episode. We'll see what you guys think about a certain style of taillight that I have got for the car. We're going to mock them up and just take your guys' advice. Stay tuned. Before we get down to work, I want to take a second out to thank our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon is totally changing the game in the electronics industry by designing premium wireless audio equipment for half the price without compromise. They're doing things differently than other companies out there, from the way that they design their products to the way they price their products. They put the customer experience first. Raycon offers their wireless earbuds in a range of different fun colors and patterns and a variety of different fit options with no dangling wires or stems or anything. The company was actually co-founded by Ray J, and other celebrities like Snoop Dogg and Melissa Etheridge can't get enough of them. They love them. Raycon earbuds give you 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design for a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. And Raycon has a 45-day free return policy. So if you're trying to take a break from the screens, maybe get outside, but you don't want to feel totally unplugged, you want to take your content with you, Raycon is the best way to do that. When I go out and I go on a run, I take my earbuds. They fit so comfortably in the ear, and they don't shake out. They don't get loose and they won't fall out ever, I promise. I run with these things all the time. I also use them in the shop when we're working. Loud noises and stuff like that helps dull down the loud noises, and I get to listen to my music at the same time. It's a win-win. So guys, if you're in the market for some earbuds, these ones, I really do use these all the time. I absolutely love them. I don't go anywhere without them, and they're a great product. The link is at the top of the description, or you can go to buyraycon.com/build and you will get 15% off of your Raycon purchase. So go check it out. Thanks to Raycon for sponsoring this episode. Let's get down to work. So for seats, these are obviously some Cobreau seats. So we're really happy that we've partnered with Cobreau on this build, and hopefully we'll keep working with them in builds in the future. And they make really, really good seats for all types of applications, but especially off-road. They had a lot of options. So this is a suspension seat. It's the Cobreau Baja XRS model. And they made these. We have an anti-submarining slot here, which is a specialty order option. And then we also have lumbar support back here, so there's a little pump to change the lumbar support, because I think that's going to be important with the angle that we need to sit in here. So it's a great off-road suspension seat, and I'm going to put a link in the description to their website. Go check them out. I want to thank them for partnering with us on this build. And they're going to be really, really easy to install. But before we install them, we got to do some other stuff on the car to get ready for the harnesses. So to prep the cockpit for the seats to come in, we're going to do something that everybody requests, but we don't need to do, which is make this horizontal upright bar, this support. That helps the cage from not kind of sandwiching over that way, like the whole cage flopping over that way like a house of cards. That stops it from doing it that way and that way. So you don't need another bar coming in like this, but everybody wants to see it. So I am going to appease the masses and spend a lot of extra time building that. So what I like to do when I'm building one of these is go up to the upper corner where you want to start and the base plate where you want to end, and run a string behind the other tube, and that's going to really help guide you when you're trying to cut this other tube, so it makes a direct crossover and it's not like a sloppy X. So we'll go ahead and run the string and start cutting some tubes. First tube is probably ready.
Probably.
Let's test fit it. So, put that there, sweep that there. It fits.
A little gappy.
Little gappy. What do you think, Oscar? Can we fill that in?
Shouldn't be too big of an issue. Just split the difference.
All right, we'll split the difference. All right, next time we make another tube, we gotta be a little more conservative with our cut lines. All right, so the next tube we gotta make goes from here down to here. So we'll set our string back up. Well, our string's still there. We're just gonna run it like this, measure our angle and cut this tube up and get it there, and then we should be able to tack both of these in there. Second tube is made, and we've already test fit it. It does fit. Goes in there, comes in, and lands right where we want it there. So next step is we're going to go ahead and tack everything in place. We use our cheater string to come down, make sure that we're getting the angles that we want. At first glance, it does not look like we are. What happened? I don't know, but we'll fix it. These X bars are like. There's a lot of fine tuning goes into getting both the bars to fit exactly at the right angle. I don't know why this one's not right, but we'll fix it up. I think I know now, and get them both in there and get them tacked up at the right angle. The crossbars are in. We got it perfectly aligned. It looks really good. Managed to split the gap on that one because if you remember, it was a little sloppy, and that'll be fine to fill the weld on that. Now this is something where all these welds get inspected on race day before we pass the technical inspection. So this is a Oscar welding job since he's actually a certified welder and I am not. And it's safety equipment, which we always have Oscar weld. But before I have him jump in here and start welding, I am gonna build the harness bar. And to do the harness bar, we should test fit the seats and make sure where we want it. It should be a little bit lower than the seat opening. So we'll go ahead and throw the two seats in here for a quick test fit and figure out the height that we want our harness bar. If you don't know what a harness bar is, it runs behind your seat, runs horizontally, and your harnesses go through your seat and attach to that bar. So it has to be really, really strong in the car to be able to take all the force if you get in an accident. All right, we test fit the seats and saw where the harness slots were in the backrest. When you're installing harnesses, you either want them to run straight back or at most a 20-degree angle down. So we're opting for basically straight back since we're so close to the seats. Then what we did was, so we marked where that point would be. This is the high point, and then we so we kind of marked that on this side, and then we made a line with string, and then we leveled that string to level with the car, which happens to be exactly level with the world. We got kind of lucky when we built this thing. It's 100% level to the shop floor. So now Kyle and I both have to build a bar that follows this line. It's gonna go right from here over to here and intersect here. Right here, what we'll do is we'll put a taco gusset, so that's a folded piece of steel that'll fold over that, and it'll make it look like the bar is running all the way through, but it's not actually gonna run through here. I mean, we could use it as a gusset and just run it through there anyways, but right now we're gonna focus on this bar and this bar. Kyle and I shall race and see who gets our bars done first. The top of the bar just has to be level with the string, and then they'll be perfectly level across the car. Bars are in. They are dead nuts straight, level to the world, level to the car, and it doesn't look good without something in the middle. I have a feeling that you guys would all just hate us for not doing something in the middle if we left it like that. So I'll cut out a middle piece, I'll cope it. It's gonna be really annoying to make, but I'll get it made and we'll tack it in there and be able to move on to fully welding everything. We got the centerpiece in there. That piece took longer than any of the other pieces that we have built today, and took the most modification trips out of anything, but we got it in there and it looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and tack weld it in right now and never think about it again. All right, the spacer bar is in there, it's tacked in there, it's perfectly straight. We measured it with everything and it's geometrically correct. And so that's all good to go. We need to move on to the seats. So here's the deal with these seats. These are the metal mounting brackets down here that people probably normally mount to sliders. We're not running sliders because we need all the height we can possibly get in the vehicle. So this is gonna mount straight to the floor of the vehicle. Now, The rules for the Mint 400 state that we have to use 3/8" hardware or bigger to bolt our seat down, which means we can't use this hardware here, even if we use, you know, 6 of them on that side and 5 on that side or whatever, or 6. I can add. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these bolts off. We're going to strip a little bit of the paint off here. We're going to run a strip of metal running down here. It's going to be the same thickness as this metal. And in that piece of metal, we are going to have 2 studs. And they're both going to be 3/8" bolts. So we're basically going to have welded studs coming out of there. And then those will go through the floorboards of the car, and we'll put a nut and washer on the back side. So that's the game plan for bolting these seats into the car nice and securely. We've scraped the paint off right where the rails are going to go so we can get a good contact weld. We're going to cover the seat in a fiberglass blanket and then leather so the weld spatter won't burn into our nice new seat. We're also going to get some wet towels that we can apply over here in case this piece of metal heats up too much. The wet towels are going to help cool this back down. These are the pieces that we're going to be welding in. So you can see we welded the bolt on the back side of it, and then this gets welded in, and those act as our studs. But first we got to throw a coat of paint on the back side of all of these so they don't rust from the back forwards. That looks great. Fresh coat of paint on there. We did not damage the seat at all one bit. So that worked out great. One down, one to go. All right, second seat is done. Next thing that we need to do is bring the seat over and figure out where we want it to land in here. I have a feeling that we're going to be able to utilize one of the supports, and we're going to have to build another. All right, we test fit the seat into here. You can see by some of my scratch marks slash paint, we tried using a little paint on the end of the bolt technique. We're right about here and here. So what I'm gonna be doing is drilling a hole right here and right here, and we're gonna use this main cross member. Over here, the back bolts are just trying to land right about here in the middle. This is just like flexi sheet metal. It will not, it's not strong enough to bolt the seat to, so we gotta build a cross member. So we will cut a piece of 2" by 1" aluminum, rectangular aluminum, run it through here. I'm gonna hit this with a sledgehammer, knock it down. We're gonna run that through here. We will spool gun it in, weld it in just like the Lamborghini does at the factory. And then that will be our support for our rear bolts of the seat. Then we just gotta drill some holes wherever those go, and we should be able to set our seat down perfectly. Throw the washers and nuts in from the bottom, and it should be installed. Oh, by the way, I do want to mention that, you know, if you're shopping for some Cobreau seats, you don't have to do all this custom bracketry. They sell brackets and stuff, just not for Lamborghinis. But, you know, if you have like a popular truck or Jeep or something like that, they got you covered. It's not quite so.
Not for off-road Lamborghinis.
Yeah, they just don't have one for off-road Lamborghinis yet. But, you know, maybe after we do this. The seats are in. So we've got the studs welded onto the bottom of the seat. Then we got that support that runs through here, support that runs through here. We drilled 4 holes. We had to weld in our own support. Those go through. We got a washer and a nut on the bottom that holds the seat in here securely. This is a reclining seat, so this is max recline. If you were shorter, you could just kind of recline forward a little bit, and that'll bring you forward. No sliders in this car, just all-out race car. We threw just the shoulder straps for the Cobreau harnesses so you can kind of see how these are going to look. We wanted to install the harnesses tonight, tonight, but we just, there are a lot of safety rules about the way that the harnesses are installed. We don't have the hardware to be able to do that tonight, so we just want to do it right the first time. So the harnesses will get installed when we can get all that hardware. Also, you'll notice we didn't fully weld this out because Oscar wants to take his time with that. So we just decided, like, let's let Oscar do that later when he has plenty of time to do that. So the seats are fully installed though. That is super, super cool. We did mention that we were gonna show you guys some taillights to see what you think. So here's some taillights. Well, let's get them out. So I haven't seen these before yet. I mean, I bought them. They are way wider than they looked on the internet. Hey, they're two-piece. And I broke it. We actually might want to, well, we can test fit it each way.
We got options.
Yeah, so this is well, I'm not going to tell you what car this is off of, but this is a sequential, it goes, you're looking at it upside down, it goes like that. It's a sequential taillight. I think these are probably reversed and these are the sides. So let's mock that up on the back here. Let's see if we even have room. Oh, should we push the car forward?
Yes.
Yeah, let's push the car forward real quick. All right, got the car moved forward. So there is a little bit of worry, like if we mount this, you know, it's got to go like that, more like that, that as the tire goes up, it'll probably hit the tail light. What I was thinking is we could come out here and kind of box this in, make it look nice. I don't know though. Let me try and get further back.
It's a nice looking light.
Yeah, it is a nice looking light, and it has the kind of Lamborghini styling certainly, but it's a little too large. Now we can move it in more towards the center and work with it that way as well. Here, let's get Oscar the other one. This car is so wide, it's like really hard to film. So that is kind of an option. These taillights are basically like Aventador style taillights that were made for a C7 Corvette. And I kind of bought them on a whim without really mocking anything up in 3D, and I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. The other thing that we can do is we can take this piece off. This piece comes off and run them a little bit more solo like that, so it won't look so much like a C7. And the other idea that I had, if we don't want to use like a whole taillight with a big housing or something, is go ahead and pull this off, is we could just install a nice little strip LED light right here, like build it off, have a little bit of build up right here, and bring it out here and just have a nice little stripped LED light, maybe 1 inch tall and 6 or 7 inches wide, and be a nice and like skinny LED thing there. That's also an option. It's a little bit more simplistic and probably be a lot more durable in the long run, but wouldn't have the cool like sequential turning stuff. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to see or hear your opinion. I'll probably see it because I can't hear you in the comments. I have to read it. All right guys, that's a wrap on this episode. Another big thing off the list. We've got seats. Very soon we'll have harnesses. We just got to order a little bit of hardware. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you want to support us even more, head over to bsforbuild.com. Get some merch. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace!